right, Mr. Lee Teat.
What's up, buddy?
Friday main event is coming at you. It's second round playoff action, Lee. First half hour, you and I are going to go Class 1A, 2A, and 3A.
Correct.
And let's split it up a little bit because everybody's going to get tired of seeing you and I the whole time. No doubt. I'm already tired of it. So we'll go into coaches' interviews at 6:30. We got Greg Ryan, Greenback's head coach. 6:45, we got Coach Palmer over at Shelbyville. 7 o'clock, Marty Wheeler, Covington, and 7:15, we got Paul Derrick. New guy on the Friday main event, head coach at Nolensville. Look forward to talking to him. So that's what we got lined up. Of course, Lee, following the coaches' interviews, we jump back in 4A, 5A, 6A. We're going to pick all the games. You can't dodge any of them. You don't feel comfortable with any of them, you're going to pick them. So
all right.
that's the way it is.
Hey, I'm feeling a little bit better, man. This talking football, this daggone time change.
Yeah.
Got me dragging around like a seal's butt.
I hear you, brother. I don't know what that means, but that don't sound good. Sounds like a former girlfriend.
Just kind of dragging around, man. Now we're getting. I'm getting a little excited here.
That's a terrible analogy there, buddy.
Talk some football,
by the way. Well, Lee T, let's jump right into 1A, and I'm gonna put up the top of the 1A bracket, quads 1A and 2A, and I'm gonna go ahead and apologize up front. Because, we've had each quad separated.
Right.
I got lazy this week, and I put quads 1 and 2 on the display at the same time. I don't know how well they're going to be able to read this, but we're going to go ahead and put it up, Lee. As we're looking at that, it didn't work out as I thought it would. Hopefully the viewers can see that. But what you've got there in quad 1, you've got a Cloudland, a Coalfield matchup. And then you got Oliver Springs and Greenback, Lee. So we'll talk about those two games to get the show started off. And looking at Cloudland, Lee, they're 7-4 currently. They beat Jellicoe 56-14. Keith Henry, no stranger to postseason play, man. I think he's 87-38 heading into this season. So he's over 90 wins now in 10 years. There at Coalfield, and then Cloudland, Mike Lunsford. He's got a storied history. He's been coaching for a long time, over 220 career victories now. Who do you like in this game?
Mike, I like Coalfield in this ball game.
Wow, you jumped right on them. I thought this was a tough pick for me.
Because I think Coalfield is a more playoff-tested team.
Okay.
They've been deep in the playoffs year in and year out. I don't think they're any stranger to this. I think Cloudland's schedule might be a little suspect.
It is a weaker region, no doubt.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Coalfield in this ball game, but probably by about a touchdown, I think.
I don't know where this game's going to be played at, Lee. I was checking out Coach T. Apparently, Cloudland's field has just gotten torn all to pieces last week. I never did get a firm answer on where that game's going to be at. So it's not a true home field. For Cloudland, which I hate that for Mike Lunsford and his bunch.
Well, that's big in the playoffs.
That's huge. I mean, home field is. So I kind of wanted to take Cloudland in this game, Lee, but the fact that they're not getting that anticipated home field advantage, I'm kind of with you. I'm leaning toward the Yellow Jackets. They're playing pretty good. They beat Jellicoe 56-14.
Right.
I think Cloudland beat them 54-12 during the regular season. And then you look at Cloudland, they beat Midway 36-22, and then Coalfield beat them 22-13. It's kind of a wash there.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Coffey, the running back for Cloudland, at 273 yards last week, I think he's got to have a big game for Cloudland to have a chance.
I think so, too. And I think Coalfield only returning 3 guys at the start of the year on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
I think it might have taken them this long to get it to playoff standards.
Right.
So I expect them to keep rolling.
All right, so I'll go with you on that. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this next game, Lee. We are kind of limited on time. We're going to cover all these. Oliver Springs in a rematch with Greenback. Greenback won the first meeting 28-18. That was a very close. As a matter of fact, that was the closest game Greenback had this year.
Right.
So Larry Green doing a great job there at Oliver Springs. Of course, our buddy Greg Graham, we'll have him on at the bottom of the hour. I think they probably walk in this one. I know the first matchup was close, but you got Bryce Hanley, Mr. Football candidate, here in postseason play. That's when the cream rises to the top.
That's correct.
I like Greenback to win this one pretty handily, to be honest
I
with
do
you.
too.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cherokees.
Join with the Cherokees. I'm with you, Lee Teet. I agree. Now looking on down in that quad, looking down in quad 2, Lookout Valley travels to Whitwell, and we'll put that display back up, Lee, momentarily to kind of see where we're going with that. Whitwell at hosts Lookout Valley, and then you got South Pittsburgh headed to Gordonsville.
Right.
So I don't think anybody's going to knock Whitwell off in this quad, to be completely honest with you.
I don't see it happening. They're playing lights out. That win over Trousdale kind of solidified them to me.
And South Pitt.
South
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
exactly.
So yeah, I think Whitwell Tigers, Coach Bolden. I really like Wingo, his tailback.
I do too. I like Petty as well. Petty's a really, really all-around player.
That's right.
I think he's as vital on defense as he is offense. And then
Thunder.
yeah, exactly. You got Warner Ashworth leading the offense. I mean, there's just no weak points in this Whitwell team. A very senior-heavy team. I like them to knock Lookout Valley off pretty handily.
Right.
And now the game that I think of interest is South Pitt traveling to Gordonsville. Scott Clemens done a really good job there, taking over for Moose at Gordonsville.
That's right.
Got them at 9-2 now. Lee shut out Sells Creek last week. South Pittsburgh, a huge winner over Monterey. Who you like in this one?
I like South Pittsburgh by 10.
Vic Grider's tough to beat, isn't he?
He is, especially in the playoffs. They do a good job. You know, Gordonsville's no stranger to playoff football, and this is probably the 100th time in the playoffs these two teams have met. They play each other almost every year. But I think South Pittsburgh's got too much this time.
So you like South Pittsburgh?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, I'm leaning that way also, Lee. It's like you said, in the postseason, there's really not many coaches statewide, any class, that I think prepare better than Vic Grider in the postseason.
That's right.
So I like South Pitt. I think what we're going to see in that third round is the anticipated Whitwell-South Pittsburgh rematch.
Correct.
I feel pretty confident that's going to happen. And no disrespect to the Tigers. Tigers had a great year, and Braxton Givens has had one heck of a career there at Gordonsville.
Oh, yeah. He's the real deal.
I think it comes to an end tomorrow night. Lee, moving on down to Quad 3, the top match in that is going to be, or the top half of that quad, Wayne County travels to Cornersville. What's your thoughts on that matchup there?
Cornersville rolls.
Cornersville rolls. Does Wayne County score? I think that's the bigger question, isn't it?
I don't know.
10
They
straight shutouts.
put up 14 on Huntland.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. I think Cornersville may do it again.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
They're just stacked.
Gerard Randolph, what a job that guy has done, and he's been with us here on the Friday
That's
main
right.
event. 48-0 over McEwen. That's the 10th straight shutout. Somebody pointed out one of them was a forfeit win, but probably would have been a shutout anyway. Like you said, 14-6 over Huntland, Wayne County last week. Rick Rice, again, he's another one of those guys, no stranger to postseason
Right.
play. Always does a great job down there with the Wildcats. I agree with you. I don't think anybody's going to touch Cornersville up until that third round.
Right.
And speaking of that third round, Mount Pleasant and Huntington, the bottom half of that quad, Lee. What's your thoughts on that one?
Like Huntington, Coach Swinson, I think they got too much offensive firepower. They've been putting up tons of points. Broke a lot of records this year, I believe, in total yards. And I like Coach Bradley down there at Mount Pleasant. I think he does things the right way. But I think Huntington's just got too much for him.
I agree with you. I think Bronson Bradley's team has had a phenomenal season this year. They've got a Mr. Football candidate as well. So I think they score on Huntington, but Huntington just too many athletes. And the scary thing, Lee, about this Huntington team,
That's right.
they're juniors, brother.
They're getting them all back.
He's getting them all back. I don't think maybe one or two starters on this Huntington squad, seniors. So this Huntington team is kind of like the 2017 edition of Greenback.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, almost everybody on this team comes back next year. So I think Eric Swinson is going to be strong. Do you want to go ahead and pick this quad? Have we already done that? I don't remember.
No, we haven't.
We haven't. I think Corners was going to get them again this year. Why I say that is for what I just stated, Lee. Gerard Randolph's got all these seniors, Whitaker and Woodard. You're grinning. What are you grinning for, man? You not agreeing with me, huh?
I don't think so.
You like Huntington?
I think, and the reason I say that
Yeah.
is, like we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
can Cornersville's defense, if they get in a tight ball game in the fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
Huntington can score, they're going to
Oh,
score
yeah.
on them.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Connor Pearson's is a real deal, man.
can or will they know how to react? They haven't been
They
scored
haven't
on.
been scored on. That's true. Good
They
point.
hadn't had to go late in the game,
Yeah.
deep in the game, and check themselves.
I think that may be the best third round match in the well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good
Yeah,
third round matches that South Pitt will in all likelihood.
So I'm gonna go opposite of you. I'm gonna go Huntington
Yeah, all right.
in that.
But that's third round. We'll talk about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
next week. Why'd you make me do
Well,
that? Moving on down, Lee, the bottom half of that bracket in Quad 4, you got West Carroll traveling to Lake County. You got Greenfield traveling to Freedom Prep. So, what's your thoughts? I think this Lake County team,
are good.
they're really good.
They're real
really good. I think their one loss, Lee, if I remember right, was to Dresden, and that was before Dresden had a lot of key injuries.
That's correct.
I think I like Lake County.
I like the Falcons over the War Eagles.
They won 36-7 back on October the 12th.
right.
So I mean, I don't see West Carroll being that much improved.
They ain't got 29 points better, have they?
They have not. And then Freedom Prep, I think they'll cruise over Greenfield. What do you think?
I think so too.
Greenfield's pretty good, man. They're 8-3. I don't know. I'm actually, this game here was one I was kind of on the fence on. Who do you like?
I like the Freedom Prep.
You
I like
Freedom
Courtney
Prep?
Tate, their tailback. Is good, and then of course they got a freshman QB.
Yeah, Tevin Carter.
But
He's
it's a second-year starter.
he started as an eighth grader. He's got offered to Tennessee, Michigan.
Right. Completion rate's not that good, but he's an athlete. He's young,
Yeah.
freshman. But I think Freedom Prep's got too many athletes.
I won't argue with you a bit, Mr. Lee Teat. All right, so that's Class 1A. Lee, let's quickly move into 2A. As I suspected, we're already dragging behind.
Like that seal's butt.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So in 2A, you got South Green Oneida at South Green, and then you've got Rockwood at Meigs County rematch there. What's your thoughts on these two games here?
In the first matchup, Mike, I like Oneida Indians to win that ball game.
I do too. They beat Wartburg. This is actually they beat Wartburg 46-6. South Green beat Happy Valley 21-0. So if you look, and Oneida beat them 23-7. The reason why I say all this is common opponents, of course, being Wartburg and Happy Valley.
Right.
Similar results, but I'm with you. I think Region 2 tougher than Region 1, so I'm going to go with the Indians, Tony Lambert's team.
I'll take it.
I think Meigs County beat Rockwood 46-6, and I'm going to tell you what right now, if there's any team that Meigs County wants to beat, Coach Fitzgerald and them want to get Rockwood. Rockwood knocked them out of the playoffs.
That's correct.
If you'll remember when Swofford went down last year. So I'll guarantee you that's one they've had circled on the schedule for the season. So Meigs County big in that one.
I'll take it.
Looking at Quad 2, Lee, Trousdale County travels to Tyner. That may be the best game in the state in 2A.
That's going to get interesting, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I don't know, man. I don't really know. Which way are you going in this one? I'll let you pick this one first.
Man, I tell you what, I love Coach Wagner and our buddy Hollywood. I think they do it the right way at Trousdale.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Wayne Turner did a good job last year. I was so impressed with how he handled that team last year. You could tell them kids loved him. He loves the kids. I don't see anything changed. I'm going to
You
go.
love the beard too, don't
I
you?
do. But I tell you what, I'm going to go with Tyner.
Dadgummit, I was leaning that way too, but I was on the fence. So you just kicked me over on the other side of the fence. I'm gonna go with the other. And I was told, our buddy Cheese told me, don't pick us. Apparently, I'm 0-2 picking
Oh,
Trousdale. He said, whatever you do, don't pick us in this one. I picked them to beat Whitwell, and I picked them to beat Watertown, and they lost both of those. And Cheese told me don't pick them.
Where you going to pick them?
Cheese, I'm picking Trousdale County. Yellow Jackets win. He's gonna.
That's going to be a
He's
really
gonna.
good.
Kill, you know, I'm gonna get blamed by the entire
Well,
Creek Bank
that's
crowd.
going to be a really good game.
I do too. I'd like to see that one, Lee.
That's going to be a good
That
one.
one down in Chattanooga. We might go to that one. That's just a little bit much of a drive. Well, the other half of that quad, Lee, Westmoreland at Watertown, and Watertown beat the Eagles 42-0 on September 28th. I don't think we need to talk about that a whole lot. I don't see
Purple
any
Tigers.
situation. Yeah, and Coach Webster's son, I think he's
back.
back. He's back.
Right.
At, Bryce Webster. He's back at quarterback, which frees up Heath Price to do a lot of other things.
That's correct.
So yeah, I like Watertown. I think that matchup between Watertown and whoever wins that Trousdale Tyner game is going to be a really, really good game
It
next
will
week.
be.
A lot of good quarterfinal games setting up for next week. I don't know where the heck I'm gonna go, man. Looking down the bottom half of Class 2A Lee, and what we see in the bottom half of that, Lewis County hosts a really good Decatur County Riverside squad, and then Waverly Central, which was our pick preseason
Right.
to go to the state title, hosts Columbia Academy, and our buddy Coach Charlie Lansdale over there at Columbia Academy. You got any kind of vibe on that Lewis County, Decatur County? I kind of think we might be on the opposite side of the fence on this one.
Yeah, I've been with Johnny Frost and Stone Frost all year long,
Yes, you have.
and I'm not going to stop pulling for them right now. But this ball game could very easily go the other way.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Coach Frost. This told me something a lot about him last week when he went for 2 in overtime.
Uh-huh.
That tells me this guy's trying to win,
That's right.
and he's doing what he's got
It's
to do.
confidence in his kid.
That's
know.
right,
You got,
so-
you got your son running that offense.
I'm
so
gonna stay with him. I've been with him all year. I'm gonna stay with the Panthers.
staying with the Panthers. Well, I was kind of leaning that way too. The Panthers. You being funny. Ain't you? Both of these are Panthers. Lewis-
Decatur County
Yeah,
Riverside
I was gonna
Panthers.
say I'm picking the Panthers too, Lee.
Can't go wrong in this game.
Can't go wrong.
Pick
That's
the
right.
Panthers. You're gonna win.
I'm going. I'm gonna go. Dadgum. I'm gonna go the other way just for the sake of argument. This one right here to me is a total toss-up, and typically I'll go home team if I don't have a strong
Right,
vibe either
right.
way. It's at Lewis County, so I'll go with Bobby
That's a
Sharp.
very tough place to play.
It
too.
is a tough place to play. I go with Bobby Sharp. Both of these teams have veteran crews, a lot of returning starters, so it should be a good game. If you're over in the Lewis County area, that'd be a good one to go watch.
Right.
Columbia Academy at Waverly Central. Columbia Academy, of course, lost their starting quarterback, Lee, I think somewhere around week 6 or 7.
That's right.
That they did lose to Lewis County, the team we were just talking about, following that quarterback getting knocked out. Waverly Central, kind of the other way around, they really picked it up following a really, really tough start to this season. They lost to Huntington, a couple other Fairview, I think, a couple of really good squads.
Still playing.
Right, exactly. That's a good point. And now they're sitting at 8-3. Columbia Academy at 9-2. They kind of struggled with Forest last week. That kind of threw up some red flags for me. But preseason we thought Forest would be good. So I don't know. Maybe Forest has taken on to the new coaching staff finally, and they gelled. Last week. I don't know the scenario, but I'm not getting off of Waverly this stage of the ball game. I'm gonna stay with them in this one.
So you're going Waverly Central.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Waverly.
I'm gonna tell you, if this was if Coach Lansdale had to start in QB, I might go Bulldogs on that ball.
I might would too if that was the case.
Because I like Trey Davidson, but I think Trey Davidson can't do it.
He's got to have a big game, Lee, and he rushed for 305 yards last week. I don't know
Right.
if you said 15 carries, 305 yards.
But
but
against Waverly, you got to have
they got a pretty good run defense.
some firepower too. You got to score in certain other ways.
Right,
And I thought last year they could.
right.
Without their quarterback, I don't know. Rush, great player up there too, Coach Lansdale's son. But being that their starters out, I'm gonna go Waverly Central.
All right, I'm with you, brother. Waverly. All right, moving on down. Lead to quad 4. Quad 4, and let's put that back up for the viewers so they can look that up. Over Peabody hosts Trinity. That's a rematch.
Right.
And then Union City will travel to Fairleigh. You know, I've been on Fairleigh quite a bit this
Right.
year. I'm a big fan of Fairleigh, so that game right there. And of course, I love Darren Bowling. He's a regular here on the Friday main event. Peabody, man, they're going to smoke Trinity. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. They won that game 50-0 on October 19th. Lee, that was what, three weeks ago?
That's
4
right.
I guarantee you they ain't got 50 points better.
Yeah, Peabody rolls in that.
Peabody rolls in that one, and Union City, I think they're going to have their hands full with Fairleigh. We talked about Fairleigh quite a bit, 9-2. Lee, their only 2 losses were to Whitehaven and Memphis Central, 6A squads.
That's correct.
And Gene Robertson is a prodigy under our buddy Rodney Salisbury there at Whitehaven. He's done a heck of a job there. Very young coach. I think he's only 27, 28 years old, something like
Right.
that, Lee. One of the youngest coaches in TSSAA. I like him, man. I mean, I love crap. Darren Bowling, if you pick against him in postseason, that's going to bite you most of the time.
Well, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna pick against him.
You're going to pick Fairleigh?
I'm gonna go Fairleigh.
Well,
Now, I'm gonna go Fairleigh High Bulldogs, but it's gonna be a fairly close ball game.
that's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's going to be close too. I'm kind of kicking myself in the rear end for I even make this pick because I've picked against Darren Bowling and it almost every time it gets me. And I know that dude can freaking coach, man. And youth against experience. Where do you normally go in that situation?
Well, you go
I'm
get,
talking Robertson against Bowling.
you go with experience.
You go with experience. Dadgummit.
I just think Coach Bowling's too banged up, man.
I think he is. They've struggled, man. They've went through
Injury
3 or
has
4 different
killed him.
quarterbacks. They've been. I know they've had as many as 3 quarterbacks in one game because of injuries, and a brutal schedule.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm almost there here to talk myself into taking Union City. I've almost done it. I'm right there. And you got to remember, I think Gibson County. Fairleigh beat them 36-6. Gibson County knocked off McKenzie last week. McKenzie beat Union City the week before.
Right.
Union City only beat Gibson County 30-22. I'm going Fairleigh. Sorry, Coach. Sorry, Coach Bowling. That's a tough pick.
It's hard
for
to
me.
do.
That's a tough pick for me.
It
Lee.
is. It's hard to do, man. Guy's good.
Yeah, he's really
He
good.
just had some bad luck this year.
All right, Mr. T, let's head into 3A. Man, we got to smoke this 3A because we got to call Coach Greg Grant here shortly. In 3A, looking at that, you've got Gatlinburg Pittman, our buddy Derek Ring, pulled the upset, knocked off number 1 seed Johnson County, pick you and I made
That's
last
right.
week. Rematch against Austin East. And then the bottom half of Quad 1, you got Unicoi County, this week's sacrificial lamb to Gary Rankin.
Alcoa.
And the Alcoa Tornadoes. Who do you like in the first game? I think it's pretty obvious.
I'll tell you what, Mike. I think this might be it for the Highlanders this week.
I think so.
I think Austin East is a little too athletic for them.
I do too.
They beat them by 11 a month ago.
Yeah, that's correct.
So yeah, I'm gonna stay with Austin East.
I agree. And Coach Rain kind of told us everything kind of went their way. You know, the first 3 quarters. They entered that 4th quarter, I think, only down 4. Is
Right.
that correct? Something like that. And But Austin East has seen them now. They're gonna. I think Jeff Phillips' crew is gonna. Anytime you got the more talented team and it's a rematch, that's a huge advantage.
Yep.
I think for the more talented team. So even though I think Derek Ring is a really good coach, I don't think they win that. I ain't gonna waste any time on the Alcoa unit. And no offense to the Blue Devils, it wouldn't matter who was in.
It wouldn't matter what.
It wouldn't
I
matter
don't
who
care
was up
what
there.
class right now, probably.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That may be the best team
Yeah.
across the board, all classes. Moving down to Quad 2, Lee, Sequatchie County. Mark Wattenberger, a good buddy of ours as well. Man, we messed up and didn't get him. I meant to get him on this season. I forgot. But 8-3. He's done a really good job in his new job there, leaving Stone Memorial, going to Sequatchie, and taking over for Adam Kane. And Red Bank undefeated. Lee Teat 10-0. Chris Brown, another new head coach there, doing a great job. I like Red Bank in this one.
I do too. I like the Lions.
I think too many athletes.
Calvin Jackson's a monster.
Yeah, no doubt. Putting that up right quick so folks can see that. And then you got York and Upperman Lee in the bottom half of that quad. And last week I think you and I both picked Upperman to advance. So I think we're going to stick with that. I know you're not going to pick York, are you?
No.
Bit you a few times this year, hasn't it?
They have. I'm going to go with Adam Kane and Upperman.
All right, quickly, Lee, Quad 3, Stratford, Pearl Cone. Not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I don't think Pearl Cone beat Stratford 55-0 on September 28th. Not really any point in wasting a lot of time on that one.
Firebirds.
Firebirds, no doubt. East Nashville and Fairview. Now
That's a game.
That's a game. That may be the game in
That's one of
3A.
Oh, yeah. I think in 3A, it's the best matchup this week.
I think so too. 40-10, Sycamore. East Nashville defeated Sycamore in the first round. Fairview beats White Creek 35-6. We shouldn't even have been in the playoffs if it hadn't been for Giles County having to forfeit all those games. White Creek wouldn't have been there. But at any rate, Fairview 9-2, East Nashville 10-1. Both teams a lot of starters back. I think I like Jay Sean Watkins and Aronde Thompson and East Nashville. How about that?
You're going with East Nashville.
I'm going with East Nashville.
I'm going to go Fairview.
On the road again.
I'm going to go Fairview.
Can't wait to get on the road again.
I'm going to go Fairview. I like Cameron Harris Lusk. So I'm going to
They've done well, Lee Teat. Had Brock Harris back at quarterback has freed up Lusk, who had to run behind center last year. That kid's had a huge year. Huge year.
That's right.
Chris Hughes is the best flag football player in the world.
That's right. He sure is.
I'm going with East Nashville. They've had some big wins, man. They beat Maplewood.
They're
they
very
beat
talented.
Riverdale.
Very talented.
Their only loss was to overmatched Pearl Cone team or outmatched Pearl Cone team. I'm going East Nashville.
I'm going to go Fairview at home.
That's a good pick, Lee. I guarantee you that's the popular pick. But I kind of like to go against the grain every now and then.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a good one. All right, Lee. Moving on down to Quad 4, and let's put that up for the viewers to see that. And Quad 4, you got our buddy Marty Wheeler. We'll have him on in a little bit. Hosting McNary, and then you got Milan and South Gibson. So Milan actually got to host a game because South Gibson, the 4 seed there in Region 7, knocks off the 1 seed Wooddale. Who do you like in this one?
Obviously, I like Covington in the first ball game there. I think rolling right along, 10-0.
Yeah. I like them too. 42-7 the
yeah.
first match, and we'll talk to Coach Wheeler a little bit later about that.
So I'm gonna stick with the Chargers.
Covington, and then moving on down, Lee, South Gibson, and Milan.
It's an
Milan
interesting game.
Yeah, it is, because Milan won this game 26-21 in Week 11, but South Gibson, if you'll remember, was within 1 point of Covington, and they came back in that game. I think Covington, we'll talk about this, led 28-7. South Gibson came back and were very, very close to winning that game.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to go Milan at home.
I'm going Milan, too. Milan's at home. I think they may have a little more talent, got a lot more experience with 15
right.
starters back. South Gibson, not so much. But South Gibson, man, Scott Stedham has done a really good job with that team.
Well, like I said, this is an interesting ball game. I could go either way. I just like Milan at home.
Yeah, I do too. I do too, Lee. All right, Lee, let's take a break and let's go ahead and get Coach Greg Ryan on Friday main event. Mike Moulder, Lee Teat, and we'll be back after this. Hello, Friday main event followers. Mike Moulder, your host here. We're going to be talking second round playoff football action tonight. We're going to run the first half hour. We'll be talking classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. Kind of split the football conversation up, and we'll do the interviews during the middle of the show as we did a couple of weeks ago at the 6:30 mark. I've got Greg Ryan, head coach of Greenback, is going to be on with us. Of course, he's over in East Tennessee, defending 1A state champs. Most people have them picked to repeat this year. Got a really good shot at that. We'll talk to him. At 6:45, we head back over to Middle Tennessee. I've got Coach Justin Palmer, Shelbyville Golden Eagles head coach on. They coming off of a big first-round victory over Gallatin last week, so we'll talk about that in the upcoming game with Hillsboro. At the 7 o'clock hour, we'll have one of my favorite coaches on, Marty Wheeler over in West Tennessee, Covington's head coach. Of course, Marty and I, we always enjoy cracking on each other a little bit, so I'm sure there'll be a little bit of that. But I always love having Marty Wheeler on with us. Of course, his Covington Charger squad undefeated, and they did make the title game last year. A lot of people think they got a good shot to repeat this year, so we'll talk to him. And then at 7:45, it'll be 7:15. Sorry, I'll get that right in a minute. 7:15, we've got Paul Derrick, who is the new head coach at Nolensville. He'll be on with us. Of course, they're in the region with Tullahoma, so a lot of you guys follow Tullahoma and Marshall County that listen to the show every week. So we'll have Paul Derrick on. First time we've had him on, so I'm looking forward to that. So we've got a good show lined up. And, of course, you're going to be hearing me probably at least 4 times run this same commercial. And I call it a commercial, but it's really an infomercial to kind of letting you guys know what's going on. At 7:30, we'll pick back up playoff talk. 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we'll talk 4A, 5A, and 6A. So that's kind of the layout of the show. Sorry, you're going to have to see this a few times. We have to have some type of filler as we roll between coaches. And I call this a commercial. It's not really a commercial because Coach T is our sponsor at CoachT.com, but I think calling this as a commercial might be a bit of a stretch. It's more of a information letting you know what's going on with the show. So we appreciate you guys joining us every week, and we're probably going to do this one more week. I think we're going to go third round. We're going to take the week of the semifinals off, and, of course, Lee and I will be in Cookeville for the title games, and we'll be bringing you a show from Cookeville as well. So Mike Moulder and Lee Teat, and this is the Friday main event. We appreciate you guys staying with us all season. All right, Lee Teat, we are back here, Friday main event, where we've discussed classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. Lee Teat, in Class 1A, who was your, I forgot, who was your preseason number 1 pick?
Well, I think they're the class of Class 1A, Greenback.
Greenback. Well, what a coincidence. We've got Greenback head coach Greg Ryan on with us. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, man, we couldn't be better. Like we was talking to you off the air, man, it's football weather, so we're ready to roll, man. Pretty excited for this second round action.
Absolutely. We are too. Obviously, wish the rain would hold off, but,
Yeah.
It's same for both teams, and that's something we can't control, so it is what it is.
Yes, sir. Coach, you guys, you got Mr. Football semifinalist was announced last week, your quarterback. And, of course, you and I talked about that. Of the 3 nominations, Bryce Hanley, he was one of ours. He's been a special player for you guys for the last 4 years, hasn't he, Coach?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bryce started as a freshman at linebacker for us and done a really good job. I mean, pretty much, made a lot of the calls and lined there, made a lot of adjustments for us as far as getting our guys lined up as a freshman, and then continued that as a sophomore. And then last year, he got his opportunity to play quarterback, and led us to a championship. And this year, he's had really video numbers. I mean, through 9 football games, he's thrown 30 touchdown passes with only 3 interceptions.
Wow.
Somewhere around 68% passing, and then he's rushed for 5 more touchdowns, and he just does a lot of things for us. He's very smart when it comes to football, and well, he's smart when it comes to academics. He's got a 4.1 GPA, but
Wow.
he's also really football smart, and he's just a kid that every coach would love to have on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach Ryan, the last time we got to speak with you was following a 3-way scrimmage there at Whitwell back in the preseason. At that time, or do you feel at the time Coach Bolden's squad would have such a dominating regular season as they've had so far?
Well, it doesn't shock me. I knew Whitwell, they was more competitive last year than I guess I'd say than what they've been in the in the past, and then I knew they had a lot of returning guys,
Right.
And it was good for us to get to go down and see what Whitwell had to offer, and it was a very, if you was there, which
Oh,
you
yeah.
were, you seen it was a very physical scrimmage,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, if in fact we line up against those guys, if we're lucky enough to make it, and they do as well, it should be a fun football game.
Well, Coach, you guys, you've had back-to-back forfeit wins, which means you haven't played any football in 3 weeks. Any worries that tomorrow night? I mean, you guys do have a pretty solid Oliver Springs team. Any worries that there may be a little bit of rust you guys have to shake off tomorrow night?
Well, you wouldn't believe how many times I've been asked that question. And
I bet.
to be honest with you, it's really something that as a coach you don't go through a lot. I mean, I don't know the exact number of days. It's 20-some days since we played football
Right.
last, and and I could probably answer that question really good after the game tomorrow night. but going into it, all we can do is, we try to simulate game-like situations during practice because,
Right.
There's nothing like playing the football game as far as losing, as far as being in shape.
Right.
So we've done our best to do that the last 2 weeks. I don't know. I mean, really and truly, if you want to know the true honest answer I'd give you is I think our guys are going to be really raring to go.
There you
I mean, they ain't played football in 2 weeks. I don't foresee,
They ready to bust some heads, aren't they?
Well, they're ready to hit somebody other than their own teammates. That's right.
Exactly
There
right.
you go. We're joined by phone with Greenback head coach Greg Ryan here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach Ryan, we touched on Bryce a little bit earlier. Oliver Springs is really the only team I think that's put up a fight against you guys. And from a statistical point, that was probably, of all the Bryce outings this season, that was probably, I don't want to say his worst outing, but he didn't put up great numbers in that ball game. You think he's ready to go?
Well, I'll just be honest with you. That's probably the worst game I've done play calling. I mean, Oliver Springs played us, dropped 8 and rushed 3. And, we had so much success the weeks prior throwing the football and scoring quickly. I think I just got stubborn, and then I
Right.
realized at halftime when we're down 18-10, hey, they're rushing 3. We need to run the football.
Right.
So that's what we've done the second half. So, anytime you go against a too high safety look, I mean, they're giving you something.
Right.
And we try to do our best to take in what they give us. And I don't think I'd put Bryce in the best situation possible in that game. Now, he would tell you he missed some throws,
Mhm.
and we also, they run the zone, and we run through some holes.
Right.
I mean, lots of times when you're playing against a good zone defense, once you find that open hole, you just got to set it down in the hole, and we didn't do a great job of that. But knowing that we was probably going to face Oliver Springs after last week,
Right.
we've had 2 weeks now to prepare for the drop 3 or drop 8 and rush 3
Mhm.
and figure out some other route combinations that's best suited for that. But at the end of the day, we got to be able to run the football and stop the run if we're going to win the game.
Well, funny you should mention that, Coach. We talked to you back in the spring, and, you guys lost a vital part of that championship team when Breeden Gilbert transferred and moved out of state. How would you compare Jalen McCord, the Alcoa transfer you picked up midseason, to what Breeden brought to you guys last season?
Well, totally 2 different styles, I would say. Breeden was, a bruiser, one of the guys that's not going to really wow you with speed.
Mhm.
And he was going to, when there's nothing there, he was going to make something and give you something. Jalen's different in the sense that he still can run physical, and he is a physical back, but he's got more. His feet's really quick. His overall speed is not blazing speed by no means, but his feet's really quick, and he's got really good vision. So he's one of these guys that can turn a 2-yard run into an 8-yard run because of his visions very well, and which makes it easier on the offensive line.
Absolutely.
And the one thing you may not know is Josh Edwards, tailback we had last year in the state championship game, that rushed for over. He was our tailback all year long. And Breeden was actually our fullback. Josh Edwards our tailback. He tore his knee during baseball, so you didn't see him at Whitwell. Well, now he's back. So we've got two weapons.
You cut it out there, buddy. You know what you're doing. You're cheating, man, because that was Lee T's next question. We was going to ask you about Josh Edwards.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sorry about that.
I'm just messing with you, Coach. Yeah, we was wondering. We was wondering about that because we knew, like you said, he was a big part of your team last year. So he is back
absolutely.
Now.
Absolutely. Yeah. He actually tore his knee celebrating on a walk-off baseball win, jumped on third, tore his knee, and then had surgery probably a little later than we should because there was hopes that it wasn't tore.
Right.
But then he had surgery, and he's done it. Really pushed himself to physical therapy-wise to get back to get to play a little bit of his senior season.
Awesome.
And he's, believe it or not, I mean, he's actually looked better than what we thought.
Wow.
We're excited to see what he can do tomorrow night on both sides of the ball because he helps us in a different avenue because he's really good at playing man coverage. So anytime in high school football you can lock down the receivers and play people in man coverage, then you can play everybody in the box and really stop the run.
Absolutely.
Coach Cole Riddle is another kid that we were really impressed with earlier in the year. How's he look for you this season?
Cole Riddle does a lot of things for us. I mean, he overall, I mean, he's a kickoff returner. He punts the football for us. He can play multiple positions on defense. He's played. For most of the season we didn't have a feature tailback, so he was in there at tailback and plays roles there still. He plays some slot receiver. He just does a lot of things, and he's another kid that loves playing the game, and he's really football smart. So because of that, you can move him around in different positions and don't feel bad about it because of the fact that he's going to know what to do. Cole and his brother Seth Riddle, they're twins.
Right.
Both of those guys, that's what we as assistant coaches are talking about today. No matter what happens, whether we lose this Friday night or whether we go on and win the state championship, eventually it's going to come to an end with us and these 16 seniors, and I tell you, we're almost dreading that already. We enjoyed this class so much.
Right. I wish I had Cole's hair. That's the only thing I wish I
had. Yeah, well, lots of people. This day and age, I know back when I played college ball, our coach wouldn't even let us have facial hair.
Yeah.
But this day and age, I told them boys, hey, when you get my age, you can't grow it. So go ahead and do it, boy.
Exactly. Exactly. I hear you, Coach.
I wish I had half of it.
Well, Coach, hey, buddy, we don't want to hold you up, man, but we appreciate you jumping on with us. If everything works out like Lee and I expect it to, hopefully we'll see you up there in Cookeville again this year.
Well, I hope so, and I appreciate you guys having me. You guys do a fantastic job. Appreciate all you do.
Thank
you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow night, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. See you, Coach.
All right. See you.
All right, Lee Teat. Coach Ryan.
He cracks me up.
He for the hair part, these kids have got the
brothers.
The brothers, they got hair down to their shoulders out from under those helmets. So that's, if you haven't seen Greenback, that was the reference there.
Yeah, he cracks
and
me
as
up.
you can see, Lee, I ain't even gonna take my hat off. It's pretty thin up there.
all mine's migrating down.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. But Greenback, man,
solid.
Anybody gonna beat them?
I
think Whitwell's got a chance. What do you think?
Athletically, Whitwell can match.
Because we was at the scrimmage, Lee, and it wasn't any neither team was really running away. Of course, it is a scrimmage, so I don't want to read too much into that. And he did have, as he mentioned, he had some kids out. I think Bryce was had the red jersey on, couldn't run, right?
All right, they couldn't
And
hit him.
if you can't, if Bryce can't run, that really affects their offense as well. So he's really good coming out of the pocket there and running the ball.
Yeah. But Whitwell can match him, I think, athletically.
Yeah, I agree.
So that'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Lee, let's go ahead and take another quick break here. We've got 3 more coaches we're going to get lined up here. So appreciate you guys joining us. Mike Motor, Lee Teat, Friday Main Event, and we'll be back right after this. Hello, Friday Main Event followers. Mike Motor, your host here. We're going to be talking second-round playoff football action tonight. We're going to run the first half hour. We'll be talking classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. Kind of split the football conversation up, and we'll do the interviews during the middle of the show as we did a couple of weeks ago at the 6:30 mark. I've got Greg Ryan, head coach of Greenback, is going to be on with us. Of course, he's over in East Tennessee defending 1A state champs. Most people have them picked to repeat this year. Got a really good shot at that. We'll talk to him. At 6:45, we head back over to Middle Tennessee. I've got Coach Justin Palmer, Shelbyville Golden Eagles head coach on. They coming off of a big first-round victory over Gallatin last week, so we'll talk about that in the upcoming game with Hillsboro. At the 7 o'clock hour, we'll have one of my favorite coaches on, Marty Wheeler over in West Tennessee, Covington's head coach. Of course, Marty and I, we always enjoy cracking on each other a little bit, so I'm sure there'll be a little bit of that, but I always love having Marty Wheeler on with us. Of course, his Covington Charger squad undefeated, and they did make the title game last year. A lot of people think they got a good shot to repeat this year, so we'll talk to him. And then at 7:45, it'll be 7:15. Sorry, I'll get that right in a minute. 7:15, we've got Paul Derrick, who is the new head coach at Nolensville. He'll be on with us. Of course, they're in the region with Tullahoma, so a lot of you guys follow Tullahoma and Marshall County that listen to the show every week. So we'll have Paul Derrick on. First time we've had him on, so I'm looking forward to that. So we got a good show lined up, and of course you're going to be hearing me probably at least 4 times run the same commercial. And I call it a commercial, but it's really an infomercial to kind of letting you guys know what's going on. At 7:30, we'll pick back up playoff talk. 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we'll talk 4A, 5A, and 6A. So that's kind of the layout of the show. Sorry, you're going to have to see this a few times. We have to have some type of filler as we roll between coaches. And I call this a commercial. It's not really a commercial because Coach T is our sponsor at CoachT.com, but I think calling this as a commercial might be a bit of a stretch. It's more of a information letting you know what's going on with the show. So we appreciate you guys joining us every week, and we're probably going to do this one more week. I think we're going to go third round. We're going to take the week of the semifinals off, and of course Lee and I will be in Cookeville for the title games, and we'll be bringing you a show from Cookeville as well. So Mike Motor and Lee Teat, and this is the Friday Main Event. We appreciate you guys staying with us all season. All right, Mr. Lee Teat, good show so far. Class 1A, 2A, 3A discussion in the books. Coach Greg Ryan, appreciate him. Man, that's a great interview right there.
Great interview.
Really enjoyed talking to Coach Ryan. He's got a heck of a ball club up there, and he's done a great job with them.
He has.
So speaking of great ball teams, man, I thought when Shelbyville lost Mason Cunningham, and then, they lost their head coach and everything, I thought Shelbyville would downfall. I really did. I mean, that's kind of their history.
Right.
But they made a great hire. They got Coach Justin Palmer in there, and he's done a phenomenal job with them. We've got him on with us now. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. Just sitting here picking through Halloween candy with my 4-year-old, watching some Thursday night football. So it's a good night.
That
That
sounds
sounds
good.
like me. That's what I do. My grandkids won't bring their candy around when I'm there because I'll take it from them.
That's right.
That's awesome. I was telling you, Coach, I would come to your game, man, but my little brother he's forbidden me from coming to any more Shelbyville games. I was at Page, I was at Marshall County. 2 losses for you guys. So
Yeah, we just can't risk it at this point. I mean, I'm gonna have to, put the blame all on you. So
hey, it wouldn't be the first time, man. I'm married. I'm married. I'm used to that.
there you go. We'll just stick to talking on the phone right now till the rest of the season's over.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, you got to go all the way back, I think, to 2014 for the last postseason victory for the Eagles. How big was that win last week over Gallatin for the program?
It was big, and yeah, we made a good run in 2014. I was the offensive coordinator here, and our season ended against Hillsboro that year in the 3rd round. So. But yeah, it had been a little while since we won a playoff game, and that was a big win. None of these kids were. Grayson was the ball boy the last time we won a playoff game, so
Okay.
it was good for us
So
to.
he was there,
to
wasn't
get that win. He was there.
Yeah.
He wasn't a high school player yet, so
Right.
for us to finally win a playoff game with these guys was big and gives them some confidence going into this week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach Palmer, I know Hillsboro hasn't had a home field this season. Where are you guys playing this game tomorrow night?
Well, we are playing at Overton High School tomorrow
okay.
night.
That's
So
actually a
yeah,
pretty good field there.
yeah. I've never been there,
Mm-hmm.
but
Overlooks the
that's what
interstate.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's right by the interstate. I've been by it. I've just never been there. So that'll be, I really enjoy playing at different places. And getting to see different stadiums, that sort of thing. So I'm excited about going somewhere different.
Well, Coach, Lee and I, we picked Hillsboro as a sleeper back in the preseason. We thought they'd have a pretty good program. They got off to a slow start toward the end of the season. They kind of caught fire. They're probably playing as good as anybody now. In my opinion, this looks like this could potentially be one of the best games in the Mid-State as your team, also is playing really well right now. How do you feel these two teams match up?
Yeah, I think you said it. I think Hillsboro is a really good team, and they just always seem to be playing their best football during the playoffs and at the end of the season. So the last couple of years they've started off a little rough, but once they get going, man, they're tough. And I think we're better equipped to handle them this year than we were last year. With their defensive line being the best part of their defense is incredible, but their D line is unreal. And last year we just didn't have the guys up front to block them, and we knew going in that it would be a struggle. And this year I think that we are better up front, and I think we can do a better job blocking them both in the run game and the pass game. They just have a lot of good athletes that can run. Their offensive line is huge. They've got some really big guys up there. I think we match up well with them defensively. They remind me a lot of Columbia's offense, and
Yep.
with a really good athlete at quarterback.
Right.
And we've played well against Columbia the last 2 years defensively. So I think it's a good matchup there. So I expect a really good game. I think we're going to be 2 good teams going at it, and I think our kids this year are different in their mentality. I don't think they'll be intimidated by them, and I think we'll go out there and get after them.
We're joined by phone with Shelbyville head coach Justin Palmer here on the Friday Main Event.
Well, Coach, Grayson Trammell now has over 8,000 career passing yards, 531 completions, and 86 touchdown passes. Can you tell me how Grayson does not have any offers?
No, I can't because I wondered the
What is the
same thing.
deal? I mean, is there some kind of or the
I
size? What do you think it is?
I mean,
I can't
I
figure it
guess
out,
the
buddy.
only thing that they could say would be he's undersized, but it's not like he's 5'8" or 5'9".
Right.
I mean,
Right.
he's
Yeah.
6'1.5". He's not that small, and he's thick and he's strong, and he can run good enough to make you pay if you don't leave somebody for him. So I don't know, Lee. That doesn't make sense to me. He's got great grades. He's a great person to be around. He's fun. He practices hard. I mean, I really can't think of one negative thing about him besides the fact that he's not 6'3" and he's 6'1.5".
Well, Coach, I tell you, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh, when we came over to Watts earlier in the year against Marshall County, looking at Grayson, man, I was very impressed with. And if I'm a college coach, I'm looking for a field general.
Hmm.
And I was impressed with how he controlled himself on the field. That's what I'm saying. I just cannot
He's
figure this
even
out.
keeled. Yeah, he doesn't get too
He's
high,
got the
too low.
intangibles. Yeah,
He does. He
that's what
does.
doesn't make sense. We don't get.
And I guess he's just not tall enough for some of them. But here's the thing: someone will offer him,
Yeah.
and he will go to that school, and he'll probably be a 4-year starter. He'll beat all of those schools that didn't
That's right.
offer him.
Mm.
They'll regret it. He'll probably end up breaking every record at that school and being an All-American because I believe in him that much that he
We're
can
with
do
you.
that.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me a bit if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we're right there with you. Well, Coach, another senior's had a huge season for you guys as Arius Trice. I've gotten a chance to see him a couple of times. He's great at stretching the defense. Has he gotten any interest at the next level?
He's got several offers right
Okay.
now from D2 NAI schools, and he's starting to get a lot of interest right now from your FCS programs too. So,
Good, good.
I mean, he's a kid too that people don't realize he's only 17 years old. He should be a junior in high school.
Wow.
So someone's going to take him, and in 2 or 3 years when he's 19, 20 years old, he's going to be a monster
Yeah.
Right.
because he's just now starting to gain weight in the weight room because his body's
Young.
maturing
Yeah.
finally. So, and he's just young. So, he'll be one that somebody will be really happy when they sign him because he always goes hard at practice. We have to make him get off of the scout team when we're going scout team offense.
That's great.
So, yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Mm.
And another one, like I said, that'll make somebody very happy that they took a chance on him and signed him.
Well, Coach, we've talked about a couple of your seniors, but you've also got a couple of juniors who've contributed this year, Malachi Burns and Caleb Marsh. And I personally think it would be pretty tough to get to this point in the season without those two on your team. Talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, I agree. Our junior class is really good. And Caleb and Malachi are two guys who didn't play a lot for us last year. And coming into the season, they fit the mold of, as far as looking the part. And they had both worked hard this off season, but you just didn't know what they were going to do when those lights came on Friday nights because they weren't ready last year. So it's been a very pleasant surprise with both of those guys that they had. I thought they would do well, but Caleb 1,200 yards rushing and
Right.
Malachi about 50 catches and 10 touchdowns. They've exceeded my expectations for them, and really proud of both of them. Malachi's another one that we have to make get off of scout team. He goes hard at practice, and Caleb's just a freak of nature, and just doesn't know how good he could
is.
be.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Coach Palmer, man, we appreciate you taking the time, being gracious to join us this year. We really appreciate you letting Lee and
That's
I
right.
come over and setting up on your field. We want to do it again next year, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you up front. I'm going to try to find a game. I know there's no way in hell you can lose, and I'm going to come over for that one next year. That work for you?
Let's try it maybe this spring in a scrimmage, and then maybe
Hey, that ain't
maybe
fun.
in
Hey,
the
that ain't
fall
funny,
in a
man.
scrimmage,
That's so wrong.
and then
That
we'll
is so
make that
wrong.
decision. Well, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see.
All right, brother. We'll make that a date then. We'll see you spring practice.
All right,
Hey,
guys, I
buddy.
appreciate y'all
Hey,
having
man.
me on. Yes, sir.
In all sincerity, good luck to you tomorrow night, man. Lee and I, we'll be rooting for you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm hoping we go and just play our best game, and whatever happens, we can live with it.
That'll
All
work,
right,
buddy.
all right. Well, good
Thanks,
luck,
Coach.
buddy. And we'll holler at you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
See ya.
Coach. I don't think that was very funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
You guys come on over for spring
Oh
practice.
my gosh, that was funny.
I'll give him some points. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Slam the Friday main event on our show. What a guy. What a guy. That's all right. That was actually pretty good. I agree with you, Lee.
Oh man.
Lee, we are behind. What a shock. What a shock. I'm sure all of our thousands of sponsors are going to be a little upset over that, but we'll go ahead and take another commercial break. I tell you what, Lee, let's not take a commercial break. Let's scroll a couple of schedules here. I'll try to get the next coach on so we don't get too terribly out of line here. Here's Shelbyville's schedule. We'll scroll that for you. We'll try to get Marty Wheeler on with us, and this is Friday main event. All right, Lee, we are back here on the Friday main event. Coaches' interviews, it went well. We're getting abused a little bit, but other than that, everything's good.
Got lined up for a spring practice.
What's scaring me is if Justin Palmer, one of the nicest guys I ever met at Shelbyville, is giving me a hard time, I don't know what this next guy's going to do. We got Covington head coach Marty Wheeler on with us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Mike. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great, man. I mean, hey, it's like 40 degrees and supposed to rain tomorrow, so it couldn't be better.
Yeah, that's usually you guys. You strike me as a guy, Mike, that likes the colder weather type thing.
I think you're trying to say I'm fat. Is that a nice way
No,
to say I'm
no.
fat?
Well, you always read too much into what I say. No, you just. I don't know. I see pictures all the time of you on the lake, so I guess you just roll with whatever season it is, man. That's you're just all around good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I thought you meant that. Well, Coach, let's go ahead and talk football. Let's get into it. Your defense, man, you guys playing really good. I think you held the last three opponents single digits. You had a near miss October the 12th. I think the South Fulton team, you guys got up 28-7, let them ease back into that game. What did you say to your defense after that game kind of sparked this run you guys have been on here lately?
Well, I think, Mike, in that particular situation, we played the last 10 minutes of the ball game. We weren't there. We weren't there mentally. As I said to the people that I've talked to about that game, you got to give South Gibson some credit too. Those guys didn't give up; they continued to fight, and at the end of the day, we went away from what we've been doing, and sometimes our guys do that. They are high school kids, but one thing that always gets me as a coach, and I try to talk to our kids about this all the time. I don't understand how you can go from doing things like you're supposed to do them and having all types of success to all of a sudden, for no rhyme or reason, out of the blue, you're not doing what your coach said do, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do anymore, and you're not having success either. So I just don't. I'm an Alabama boy. You know that where I grew up. I mean, you know, I think it shows in our football program down there too. We don't go away from what works, and so that's sort of what the mentality I've grown up with, and our guys sometimes uh, lose sight of that mentality. But you know, the biggest thing, the defense had to play too much in that 10-minute span because offensively
Right.
we went to nothing. We didn't move the ball. I think we had 6 yards in the fourth quarter
Right.
offensively, which is not like us. So it's
Mhm.
it wasn't just our defense. It was our offense played a big part in that as well.
Mhm.
But you know, I mean, the biggest thing is our defense is been doing what they're supposed to do and doing their job more consistently for 4 quarters the last 3 weeks, I think, than they did that night.
Right.
Well, Coach, it was a Region 7 sweep of Region 8 in the first round. Did you expect that heading into the playoffs?
You know, I'll say this: you know, South Gibson's a very well coached team. McNairy County is very well coached. I mean, the teams in our region that made the playoffs are very well coached and have some guys that you know, can make plays. And I wouldn't sit here and tell you that I would have predicted a complete sweep, but I'll tell you, I wasn't at all surprised, not one
Right.
bit that they did. So, you know, I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they didn't, because you know I'm always leery about playing people, you know, twice in one season, no matter the outcome the first time. I think even probably if you've beat them the first time, it's you're a little more leery of that than if you didn't. So it's that's what we have in front of us, though. I mean, as long as we continue right now playing here, if we're fortunate to play tomorrow night and move on, then we'll play again another familiar opponent. Could possibly be the team that you just talked about. So it's but right now we're worried about McNairy County. They're very well coached. They've had a really good season so far this year, and scheme wise, they're very sound and they really do some good things offensively.
Well, I'm guessing, you know, that's got to make your scouting a lot easier these first 3 rounds, as you've already seen these opponents once already. You know, are you going to be playing a lot of golf next couple of weeks, or what?
No, Mike, I won't be on the golf course at any time here in the near future. First off, the weather's not going to cooperate.
Oh.
You know, for like maybe a Saturday, hopefully. You know, if we don't play well, I tell you what, I'll be able to get them out and keep them out. But man, I mean, the opponents, we're familiar with each other, but you know, we played McNairy early in the season,
Right.
Right, August 31st.
so you know, I'm sure there's some things from what we see on film. You know, there's some things that they may do just slightly a little different. But
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You know, you beat them 42-7, like you said, August 31st. You know, if I'm their coach, you know, I'm really going to mix things up for you guys this time around. What, you know, if you was in their position, what would you do?
well, I mean, I might throw a couple wrinkles in there. You know, different looks maybe that formation wise we hadn't seen, or maybe a different type of defensive front that we hadn't seen, or coverage wise maybe. If you know, I feel comfortable with my personnel doing that. You know, I think
Right.
sometimes you know, you can get in my opinion a little bit too you can outthink yourself sometimes. I know I've done that before where you know, you try to really read too much into it, and so you're trying to do something that your kids are not familiar with.
Right.
They hadn't done for 12, you know, for 11. We're going on 12 weeks now that they hadn't done, and you know, it's really not the time of the year, in my opinion, though, to try to do things that you're not familiar with doing, because it's you know, there's no tomorrow. So I think that you got to be careful with that, but it would not surprise me at all to see, you know, a few wrinkles there. There may be a few little plays. Play action plays, maybe a little trick, maybe a few trick plays off of what they do. I mean, they run trick plays anyway. You know, they're not
Right.
afraid to. Like I said, their coaches are very sharp, very well coached football team, and they make adjustments. You know, and that's the thing that I look at when we're going against somebody is does the staff make adjustments during the ball game based off what they see? These guys do that, and you know, that score's a little misleading, Mike. You know, they in the first half they had a chance to score right before halftime to make it a one-score game, and we were fortunate to hold them out of the end zone, and really gave us some momentum going into halftime, and we
Right.
were able to pick up on that in the second half. So it's you know, man, they get after it. I thought the kids played really hard when they played us, and you know, our biggest concern this week has been, you know, getting the point across to our players. Hey, look, that game it means nothing now. You know, that was so long ago. Like I said, August 31st. That's a few months ago. So, you know, they're I think they'll come in to the game definitely planning on winning the ball game. They're coming over here to try to put end our season, and that's what they should be doing. I mean, when you get to the second round, for the most part, you know, I mean, there's 16 teams left. I mean,
They're all good.
they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. We're joined by phone with Covington head coach Marty Wheeler here on the Friday Main Event.
Coach Wheeler, sophomore running back Marcus Hayes, who finished the regular season with over 1,600 rushing yards, was recently named Mr. Football semifinalist. What does it mean to you guys to have Marcus step up when Keyshawn went down earlier this year? That's amazing.
You know, that's a good question, Lee. And you know, the game that Keyshawn went down in was the McNary game. He went down early in that game, and you know, when that happens, you never really know what's going to happen next. But I'll say this for Hayes, we got a chance to see him a good bit in the spring because we had to get some guys in baseball, so he actually had to take the snaps for us in the spring, and you could tell then that he had a chance to be, you know, a dynamic player for us and do some special things. I think going into the season, our game plan was, you know, to try to get him anywhere from, you know, 6 to 8 touches a game,
Right.
whether it be at tailback or in the slot or something, because he was predominantly playing safety for us at the time. So he had to step up right there and be the man. And I say this all the time, you know, it's one thing to come in and touch it 6, 8, 10 times a game, you know, and contribute. And it's another thing to be the man.
Right.
And he's handled that very well. Man, he's a great kid. He doesn't say a whole lot. He's opened up a little bit since he's had some success. He seems to always have a good look on his face, and you know, it was big for him to step up like that. And Keyshawn is back healthy now, and you know, we've been able to, you know, we'll be a little different when we play tomorrow night than you know, the first go around as well. I mean, we didn't have all three of them in the backfield at the same time against them, and now we're able to get all three of them, you know, on the field at the same time, which is definitely an advantage for us. But it all goes back to, you know, how well our offensive line plays. Our offensive line, when they play well, I mean, Lee, you could actually get some yards back there, I think.
I don't know, Coach. I'm pretty slow, buddy.
You got Kylan Fain, Elijah Patrick. That's a couple of guys in the trenches, right? How have those guys played this year for you?
They play pretty well for the most part. You know, I say with the exception of you know, the 10-minute period there in the fourth quarter against South Gibson, I think they've been very efficient. You know, some other guys on that line, Huntley Rose is our center, and Ryan Hodge stepped in this year at strong tackle for us. Of course, Rob Hendren's been our tight end for the last 3 years, and he's not only contributed up front blocking, but he's been a big part of our passing game. He had a big night against McNary the first go around. So, you know, it's when we're all healthy. You know, in the past, people have been able to load the box on us and make it very difficult for us to move the football at times. But you know, Lomax being a senior, and we did lose. You know, we lost Winfrey last year at wideout, but it's sort of been more of a, instead of just the one home run guy. You know, it's sort of been like you know, 3 or 4 guys. You know, pretty much getting it's balanced out at the touches they get as far as in the passing game, and that's a credit to them and our offensive line for giving Brock time to throw and Brock making the right decision. So, you know, if we feel we're very confident in our passing game. We really, like I said before, you know, especially when we want to be able to pick and choose our times to take shots, and also in our play action, which is set up with our run game. So, man, it's so far it's been really good for us for the most part, and hopefully we can continue that tomorrow night.
Well, Coach, appreciate you jumping on with us, buddy. Be sure and tell your wife, Danielle, that I'm glad her dad's surgery went well. You know, I'm on Facebook with you guys, so glad to hear her dad's surgery went well.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'll be sure and pass that along to her. And, you know, I'm glad that I do keep up with you on Facebook, and I see where you've been doing a I don't know what kind of job. I know you got a job, but I mean, whatever job you got, I think we all wish we had one of those. Because every time I look on Facebook, you're doing something recreational that when everybody else is working.
Hey,
I
man,
don't-
you're fixing to get me in some serious trouble. You want me to tell you why? Because my big boss just texted me and said he's watching the show. So sorry about that, Elliot. He's lying. I'm not doing anything. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Dead gummit. I told you he's gonna get me in trouble, didn't I?
Man, you can't be in too much trouble because I mean, surely you wouldn't be putting that on Facebook if you was clocked in, but you wasn't really there. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that'd work. You'd been gone a long time ago.
He likes that late
He's
life
doing good
coach.
at backtracking now, isn't he?
Hey, I'm telling you, Lee, he's got it made, man. Every time I get on Facebook, that's all I think is I mean, if it ain't, he's watching some kind of new show. He's never working. When I see him,
Lord.
if you just keep up with him on Facebook, he's got the best job in America.
That's
He's,
right.
he's burying me, man.
Hey,
Hey,
but I will
brother.
tell you this, Mike. I'm gonna leave you with this. I ain't said nothing about the balls yet, and
I know. I
I'm
appreciate that. Why don't you leave it that way?
gonna say something positive though. They are getting better, and man, they're playing. I saw them. I know that the score wasn't very much in the favor of Tennessee when they played Alabama, but I thought the guys played hard the whole ball game, and I really like what Coach Pruitt said at halftime about finding some. He gonna find 25 guys that
Yeah.
will do it right. So
I was at that game, man. It was torture. I was going to tell you. Hey,
Well,
man, y'all
it's-
have more fans there than we did, I believe. That's
Well-
not good.
Well, there'll be better days. I keep telling you that. So
All right.
I mean, I tell you, you ball fans are loyal. I cannot say that you're not, man, because it's hard to see y'all dress up. I mean, I think I saw a picture of you painted with your face painted orange and white, and I thought, man, I wouldn't have went through all that time and effort for what's about to happen. But anyway, that just shows you what kind of fan you are.
Hey, get out of here, man.
You guys, hey, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys covering this high school football season and the playoffs, man. Y'all really do a great job, and y'all are actually, believe it or not, even some of our coaches made the comment. You guys they sound like you know what you're talking about. So,
Wow.
hey, that's a compliment. You got to do your research and all that stuff, and not everybody does that. That I
Hey,
deal
man, I'm
with,
just
so.
going to tell you, man, getting you guys on with us, the coaches, that's why Lee and I do it, man. I appreciate you getting on with me, man, and all these coaches. That's the reason why we do it. We love talking to you guys.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to talk to you guys later on.
All right,
Sounds
see you in
good,
Cookville,
partner.
Coach.
Hey, good luck to you tomorrow night, man.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Man, what is this, pick on Mulder Day? Mike Mulder, the guy that all the coaches want to pick on. That's me. Lee Teat. You ain't getting any of it, man. I don't know what's up with that. Lee, we need to we're behind. We are way behind.
We'll roll the
I
schedule.
kind of expected that. Yeah. Let me roll a schedule, and we'll try to get Nolensville's head coach on with us Friday main event. We'll be back after this. All right, Lee Teat, we are back here Friday main event. That wasn't too long a commercial break there. I didn't.
It's all good.
We got a new guy on, man. I didn't want to hold him up. I hated Marty Wheeler. I couldn't get him to shut up. He likes to talk to. He's kind of like me. He likes to talk too much. But I'm just kidding, Coach. We love you. We've got Nolensville head coach Paul Derrick on with us. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are great. What about the weather, man? We finally got some football weather, didn't we?
Yeah, it's starting to feel like playoff football, isn't it?
Look at this right here, Lee. Coach, I've got a picture on this Facebook are actually on this YouTube of you and I. It's a split screen, and you wouldn't believe. Look at this right here. I got a picture of Marty Wheeler from a last. You guys look a lot alike. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not. I did not
Does
know
he
that.
look like
He
a young
does.
Marty
He
Wheeler?
does.
I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Coach, talking about older guys, you coached under Will Hester. He's a good friend of ours. I think you were with him at Ravenwood and Nolensville prior to him leaving Alabama. He was a regular with us on the show. Have you been able to stay in touch with Coach Hester?
Oh yeah. We actually spoke this morning for a little while and visited. Coach Hester was a good friend of mine. And I came with him to Ravenwood. I knew him through a mutual friend, and we kind of got over there at Ravenwood and were able to have some success. And our philosophy is really kind of aligned as far as what we believe in. As far as coaching kids and treating kids and that sort of thing. And Coach has grown to be one of my really good friends. And I was with him longer than any other coach I've worked under. So I'd have to say he's probably my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
But Will's a great guy, and
He is.
I enjoyed my time with him. Learned a lot from him, and I'm just very, very blessed to take over the Nolensville High School football program after he left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, you guys had a big win over a second-seeded Macon County team last week, and currently you're sitting at 7-4 on the season. Were you pretty happy with how your team played last week?
Yeah, I was. We went up there and we did what we had to do to win the game. There were some things obviously we got to clean up. Had some penalties, had some self-inflicted wounds, but we did what we had to do and played well enough to win the game. So anytime you got to travel, hour and a half, hour and 45 away, first round of the playoffs,
Right.
That's a challenge. So I was happy with the way we went up there and played and got a win, and now it's on to the next round. It's just survive and advance.
Well, really, I don't think that your record really indicates just how good this squad is, considering the fact, you guys have been in every game you played this season. I think a turnover here, or a fourth down conversion there. This squad could easily be 10-1 right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we've been in every game, like you said. I mean, and we just some of those games we just haven't made plays when we needed to make them, or we make a mistake when we can't afford to make one. But one thing about our football team is, they're going to play hard, and that's one thing that I tell them. Effort will get you noticed before anything else you do on the football field. So that's something that we really take pride in, is playing hard and trying to play together and playing for the love of one another. So that's probably what I'm most pleased about with this group is they've gone out there every Friday night and they've fought hard and played hard and they've given everybody their best shot.
We're joined by phone with Nolensville head coach Paul Derrick here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, you guys have a rematch with region champion Maplewood tomorrow night. First meeting, you guys held the Panthers to a season low, 294 yards total offense. What do you feel was the difference in that first matchup, and what do you guys need to do better this time?
Well, I mean, in the first matchup, we had a first series of the game. We fumbled the football and they returned it for a touchdown. So, they jumped up on us quick, and we gave up a big play defensively there, and that's probably on me. Staying in one coverage a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the blame for that one. But I think we just got to, when you play a team that's explosive like them, you got to try to keep everything in front of you. You got to not give up big plays. And then, their offense is so good and so explosive with all the weapons they have that you got to try to sustain drives on offense and keep them off the field. And then, you can't turn the ball over. And then defensively, you got to try to get some short fields. You got to try to get some turnovers. And then, you got to run to the football really well and try to get them on the ground. So, we did some good things in that first ball game, but at the end of the day, we just didn't make the plays when we needed to make them, or we had a mistake when we couldn't afford to make them. That's kind of been, like I said earlier, that's been the reason why we haven't been able to win some of the games that we've been in. So we're gonna have to go there tomorrow night. We're gonna have to play, our best football game of the season.
Right.
Well, Coach, your running back Colton Dooley has had an amazing season, as well as your wide receiver linebacker Tim Stayscow. Can you talk a little bit about both of those?
Yeah, I mean, first off, they're just both really, really good kids, man. Both hard-nosed kids, both hard workers. Neither one of them really going to say a whole lot. They're just going to kind of, handle their business, and they really just lead by example. But I've been very, very pleased with what they've given us this year. Like I said, just two of the most high character kids that I've ever been around, and just don't say a whole lot, but they lead by example, and that's enough to get those other guys on the team to follow them. So.
Well, Coach, you guys began the season with returning starter Brandon Wharton there at quarterback. Of course, he got injured. Sophomore Ryder Gallardi took over. I think Wharton returned for the Brentwood game. Gallardi came in the second half. He performed well in that game. He seems to me that, he's one of those kids. It's really tough to keep him out of the lineup once he gets in there, isn't he, Coach?
Yeah, Ryder's come in and done a good job for us, man. Been very, very pleased with the way he's played. He's only a sophomore, but he plays beyond his years, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of knew what we had in him last year as a freshman, but he was only a freshman.
Right.
So that is what it is. But probably forced to play a little bit before we thought he was going to need to. But as far as what he's been able to do for us and the way he's performed, I couldn't be more pleased with his play.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat talking to Knowlesville head coach Paul Derrick here on the Friday Main Event.
Well, Coach, obviously, a lot of your contributors this year are seniors. Roughly how many of your starters will you have coming back next season?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. We'll probably have about 5 or 6 coming back. This group was a group that came when from Ravenwood, and they it's a good group of kids, and we've kind of been building towards this year for them. The first senior class in Knowlesville High School history.
Right.
And so we're definitely going to lose a lot, but we got some young kids coming up that are going to be able to help us out. But this senior group, I can't say enough about them and what they've done coming over here trying to build something from the ground up. That's never easy, and I'm just very, very proud of the way they've handled themselves, the past 3 years, and I just want to do everything we can do to try to keep this run going for them.
And Coach, I know, the enrollment continues to climb there at Nolensville. I talked to Coach Hester about that when he first started out there. Do you guys know yet if the mid-cycle enrollment numbers is going to cause you guys to get bumped up in classification?
No, I believe we're going to stay 4A.
Okay. I hadn't heard. Was you surprised that your region swept last week?
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say surprised, but I mean, we swept last year too, but I'm in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Right.
I mean, we play in a tough region, and so that's to say I was surprised. No. Did I think it was going to happen? No, because it is the playoffs, and anything can happen.
Well, I talked to Coach Wheeler about this last segment. I mean, obviously, everybody left in your quad, you've already seen them. No matter if you guys get past Maplewood tomorrow night, the winner of the Tullahoma Marshall County game, obviously you've already seen that. Who has the advantage in that rematch? Do you think the team that won, or do you think the team that maybe is there any advantage there in the rematch?
When it comes, I don't think there is any advantage really. I mean, I think it's definitely hard to beat a team twice.
Right. That's kind of where I was going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's definitely a challenge there, trying to beat a team twice. But the familiarity that you have in playing that team prior, obviously you're going to do a lot of things the same. You're probably maybe going to change a few things here or there. So,
right.
I think it's hard to beat a team twice. But again, it's the playoffs, and everybody has a lot at stake, and everybody's season's on the line. So, when it comes to that, you never really know what's going to happen.
That's kind of what Coach Wheeler said. Obviously you want to stick to what got you there, but if you came up short in the first meeting, there may be some new nuances, new wrinkles you want to throw into the game plan. That's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're definitely going to, week to week, you're definitely going to try to implement new things that fit within your scheme.
Right.
But as far as we're concerned, we're never going to stray too far from who we are, schematically and what we believe in. But each team poses a different challenge each week, so you have to kind of tweak things or scheme things up a little differently. But again, we're going to try to stay true to ourselves at the end of the day.
Well, Arcente Bruno's a good dude, man. We've had him on the Friday main event also, so that should be a good matchup. But we appreciate you taking the time
That's
to join Lee and I, and we hope we're able to call you again sometime.
Anytime, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. Well, good luck to you tomorrow night, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
See
you,
you,
Coach.
bud.
Bye-bye.
All right, Lee. First timer, Paul Derrick.
Well, if he's been under Will Hester, he knows what he's
He
doing.
knows what he's doing. That's exactly what I was thinking. Coach Hester, really, really good coach.
Yes.
And a good friend of ours, and skinny Will Hester.
Half the man he used to be.
He is. I know when we did.
Literally.
We started the show last year, and I went. Our first game was at Nolansville, and he came up in the booth, and
We didn't
I
recognize
didn't even recognize him, man. He lost so much weight. Yeah, he had a good understudy. So
Yes, he did.
he's I think he's doing good there at Nolansville. We're fixing to talk about that quad Lee, so I'm not going to give too much away. I may be picking up setting that one just to kind of give you a little heads up. Lee, let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk about 4A, 5A, 6A Friday main event here. Mike Motor, Lee Teat, and we'll be back after this. Hello, Friday main event followers. Mike Motor, your host here. We're going to be talking second round playoff football action tonight. We're going to run the first half hour. We'll be talking classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. Kind of split the football conversation up, and we'll do the interviews during the middle of the show as we did a couple of weeks ago. At the 6:30 mark, I've got Greg Ryan, head coach of Greenback, is going to be on with us. Of course, he's over in East Tennessee defending 1A state champs. Most people have them picked to repeat this year. Got a really good shot at that. We'll talk to him. At 6:45, we head back over to Middle Tennessee. I've got Coach Justin Palmer, Shelbyville Golden Eagles head coach on. They coming off of a big first-round victory over Gallatin last week, so we'll talk about that in the upcoming game with Hillsboro. At the 7 o'clock hour, we have one of my favorite coaches on, Marty Wheeler over in West Tennessee, Covington's head coach. Of course, Marty and I, we always enjoy cracking on each other a little bit, so I'm sure there'll be a little bit of that, but I always love having Marty Wheeler on with us. Of course, his Covington Charger squad, undefeated, and they did make the title game last year. A lot of people think they got a good shot to repeat this year, so we'll talk to him. And then at 7:45, it'll be 7:15. Sorry, I'll get that right in a minute. 7:15, we've got Paul Derrick, who is the new head coach at Nolansville. He'll be on with us. Of course, they're in the region with Tullahoma, so a lot of you guys follow Tullahoma and Marshall County that listen to the show every week. So we'll have Paul Derrick on. First time we've had him on, so I'm looking forward to that. So we got a good show lined up, and of course you're going to be hearing me probably at least 4 times run this same commercial. And I call it a commercial, but it's really an infomercial to kind of letting you guys know what's going on. At 7:30, we'll pick back up playoff talk. 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we'll talk 4A, 5A, and 6A. So that's kind of the layout of the show. Sorry, you're going to have to see this a few times. We have to have some type of filler as we roll between coaches. And I call this a commercial. It's not really a commercial because Coach T is our sponsor at CoachT.com, but I think calling this as a commercial might be a bit of a stretch. It's more of a information, letting you know what's going on with the show. So we appreciate you guys joining us every week, and we're probably going to do this one more week. I think we're going to go third round. We're going to take the week of the semifinals off, and of course Lee and I will be in Cookeville for the title games, and we'll be bringing you a show from Cookeville as well. So Mike Motor and Lee Teat, and this is the Friday main event. We appreciate you guys staying with us all season. All right, Lee, Mike Motor, Lee Teat, Friday main event. Appreciate you guys joining us. We have concluded the coaches portion. We was looking at the comments. Was it Lookout Valley? Did I say that right? I think that's right. Yeah. No, Happy Valley. I'm sorry, Happy Valley. The Cloudland Coalfield game is at Happy Valley. Some of our Friday main event viewers let us know that. Devils times 4 and South Towner. We appreciate that.
Right.
And Rio,
Rio. The answer to your question is yes.
and that would be what question, Lee?
Does BA beat Christian Brothers tomorrow night? Yes.
You gonna bet the farm on that?
No.
That don't sound very confident there, partner.
They'll
Who
be-
you reckon that Rio is?
I don't know.
You got your suspicions?
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
All right, Lee, we got to get going, dude. We got 3 more classes to talk about, and the 4A class, quad 1. Again, folks, I'm going to have these pictures here bigger next year.
This is
Next year,
good
next week.
matchups right
Yeah,
here.
some good matchups right here, Lee. 3 Region 1 teams. Greenville hosts Sullivan South in a rematch. Elizabethton travels to Anderson County. Have you got any strong opinions on? I'm pretty sure you like Greenville as I do.
Oh yeah, Greenville.
Greenville's going to smoke. They beat them 62-7.
Yeah.
So we're not even going to discuss that one. That's a bye.
I think this next matchup's going to be a good one.
I do too, Lee. Who do you like in it?
Well, I actually talked a little bit to Donovan about this ball game yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a
Our
little.
Donovan Stewart,
Donovan
our buddy.
Stewart.
Okay.
Yep, had a little bit of a discussion about it. And we're probably on opposite sides. I think Anderson County might get them.
You think Anderson County gets them?
Now, I think defensively Anderson County's not as good as they were last year.
Okay.
But I think
Yeah, they did shut Union County out 54-0.
right. But I think Stanton Martin is the real deal, and I think it's going to be him and Carter Everett going toe to toe tomorrow night.
That's a good quarterback matchup, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I didn't realize Everett was as big as he was till
Yeah,
we went
and
up there and saw that game.
He's a good sized young man. So, but man, I'm gonna go Anderson County late. They're gonna come back late in this ball game.
You like Anderson County?
Yeah, which is probably
Elizabethton
not the favorite.
beat Howard 28-14. Anderson County beat Howard 28-14.
Right.
Elizabethton beat Union County 54-13. Anderson County beat them 54-0 last week. So common opponents, not a lot of difference.
About a wash.
About a wash. Stanton Martin passed 294 yards, 4 TDs last week. Like you said, good quarterback matchup. Just to make it interesting, I'll go Anderson County also.
Are you?
Yeah. I like Anderson County. I think they're strong, man. They got a lot of seniors back.
Is that one of the big ones?
Yeah, I think so.
Coach T big ones.
Oh, I don't know. I quit. I missed a week. I screwed up. I was in like 3rd, 4th, 5th place, somewhere around in there. And week 11, I freaking forgot to fill it out. So I'm sure our buddy up there at South Pittsburgh like that, the drunken sailor. Me and him we were one game apart there for 4th, 5th place, and I screwed up, forgot to fill my darn bracket out, so I just got pissed off. I ain't filled out any since then, so I couldn't answer that question.
So you're going Maverick?
I'm going Mavericks. I'm gonna go Anderson County. I think that's gonna probably be the best game, at least over on the east side of the state. Marshall County, Tullahoma in quad 2. Lee Teat. I might surprise you in this one. Who you like in that one?
You know where I'm headed with this. I'm gonna go Tullahoma.
I'm going Tullahoma.
Yep. I went with Marshall County last week and upset over the 1 seed.
You
They
did.
got it.
You did.
I just feel strongly about the region they play in. Top to bottom is so tough.
Yeah.
We just talked.
It
to Coach
is. They
about
swept.
that.
They swept Region 3 last week.
Coach Derrick mentioned that in an interview, but I like Coach Olive. I think if he's going to do it, he's going to do it this year, especially with Bryson Korn and Race Marin. So I'm going to go Wildcats in a close ball game, though.
This is going to be a good one right here, Lee. And I'm kind of wondering the weather. With the weather, potential cold, rain. Anybody have an advantage in that? We know Marshall County hasn't really been able to throw the ball much this year. And then Tullahoma's got big Bryson Korn. You like that? You got to like that ground and pound game
Right.
there. I don't know that the weather gives either team an advantage. Thomas Osteen, 2 consecutive years semifinals. And John Ollie, he's been doing it, forever. So I don't know that there's a coaching advantage. I don't know that there's a player advantage. Just a wild hunch. This was a 14-13 game.
Right.
Marshall County missed an extra point on August 31st. Marshall County, I think, has gotten past the loss of Bryce Wallace. Beat a good Stone Memorial team. I'm going to go Marshall County in upset. How about that?
That's a good pick.
I don't know if that's a good pick or not. But it's just a hunch. It may be way off base. But we'll see. I think that's going to be a good one. I think that could go either way. You agree with that?
I do. I just think Ty Cox may take over tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's true. I love Ty Cox. Man, that kid, he is awesome.
Playoff time, buddy.
Yeah, that's
He's
a
that
good
kinda
point.
kid.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that, Lee. Dadgummit. You got me thinking now. I'm going to stay with it. I really do think this game could go either way. I think these two teams are very, very
Even match.
even matched. I'll go Marshall County just to go opposite of you and give you some bragging rights. Good Lord, you need them after the season you've had. Nolensville, Maplewood, Lee. Hey, man, I'm leaning a little bit toward an underdog here again. Our Cente Bruins got Bobo Hodges at quarterback. I'm kind of leaning underdog. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Nolensville 42-7 over Macon County last week. Huge win. This game was close, 20-13 Maplewood, and you heard Coach Derrick even said, they probably should have won that game.
Buddy,
You going Maplewood? Ain't
I
you?
like Bobo Hodges and
Yeah, I do
Kendrell
too.
Scurry.
I do too.
I'm gonna go Maplewood.
Yeah, I'm picking the obvious underdogs. I'm giving you an opportunity
No, you ain't giving me nothing.
to blow my doors
I know
here.
better than that.
All right, Lee, let's move on down to the bottom half of 4A, and 4A bottom half Springfield looking really good again this year. I think Coach Dustin Wilson's doing a really good job again this year, and I like Springfield to take Jackson Southside 10-1, Jackson Southside down.
Oh yeah, Yellow Jackets.
And in the bottom half of that, we may go opposite here. I'm leaning toward Northside in this one, Lee.
I'm going Montgomery Central.
All right, I'm going to go Northside. I'm going to go home field.
See, I got Montgomery Central coming out of that quad.
I know you do. You got to go with them, don't
That's
you?
right.
And then in quad 4, Crockett County, Dyersburg. I'm Dyersburg all the way. I really like Dyersburg. And then Hillwood. I'm sorry, Haywood and Ripley. I'm leaning toward Haywood in that one. Haywood in that one. All right.
Yeah,
so,
they beat them 40-6 earlier in the year.
yeah,
So.
well, there you go. That makes the argument for you, don't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Lisa, that's 4A. Quickly, let's go ahead and head over into 5A.
4A is good.
5A is good too, Lee. And the reason why I say 5A is good because it's so unpredictable.
It is
man.
very, very unpredictable.
Davy Crockett, the 1 seed, hosts Tennessee in a rematch, and I was kind of shocked to see Region 1 take 3 out of 4 in that. To be honest with you, I thought South Doyle would beat Tennessee, so that was probably the upset for me in this quad.
Right.
And then Daniel Boone takes on or travels to Knox Central. Knox Central, of course, you and I like them to take this quad. So we'll go ahead and go with the first match. Who do you like in that first matchup between Tennessee High and David Crockett?
I think Tennessee High gets some revenge.
Wow.
I'm going Vikings.
Big pick right there. Because that was just a 3-point game back on October the 12th.
That's right. I'm going.
Mike May's squad has done a really good job. I can dig it, man.
I'm going Vikings in an upset.
I can dig it. I'm going to go David Crockett. So I've got Crockett and I've got Central in quad 1. Quad 2, now this is a game I'm really intrigued about. And the reason why I say that, we got Fulton. We had Fulton Lee as the Class 5A champions in our preseason, right?
We did.
So I like Fulton, and I'm not getting off of Fulton, but what I do like is the fact that Catholic has their quarterback. Jack Janzik's back, 454 yards last week. I think he broke a collarbone, wasn't it?
That's right.
He broke a collarbone earlier in the season. He's been out. They beat Knox West 34-28. Fulton 46-16 over Lenoir City. That only loss was to Maryville this year. I got Rob Black winning this one. I think this is going to be probably a lot closer now that Janzik's back for Catholic.
I like Fulton Falcons in this game, but I think it's 2 scores.
2 scores. Wow.
Yep.
I think it's going to be closer than that.
7.
But I could see Fulton's defense is stout, man, and Xavier
Right.
Malone is really good. I like the quarterback matchup. I like Xavier Malone in that matchup. But I think this game could potentially be closer than what a lot of people think. Oak Ridge, our buddy Joe Gaddis, we had him on a couple of weeks, Lee, 42-0 over Ray County. Take on Saudi Daisy, the Region 4 champions who actually beat Catholic.
Right.
6-4 is Saudi Daisy. Oak Ridge 9-2. I like the Wildcats of Oak Ridge to walk in
I'm
this one.
going Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge.
This is going to be an interesting game right here. This next one.
Yeah, let's pull
Set
that
it
up.
here.
Yeah, this is the bottom of 5A, quads 3 and 4. Page and Beach. You're right, Lee. I think that will be a good match. Coach Rathbone, really impressed with his squad this year, taking on Beach, and I think Coach Crabtree's team's playing a lot better as of late. We had Coach Palmer on with us, Shelbyville's head coach. Got a tough order as they go to Overton to play Hillsboro.
Right.
It'll be a home game for Hillsboro at Overton. Who do you like in the first matchup in this quad?
Man, this has been one I've been thinking about all week.
I like Page. I ain't thought about it at all. I like Cade Walker.
I do too. I love Cade Walker. We
Yep.
talked about him all year.
Yep.
I'm leaning towards the Page Patriots, but I think Coach Crabtree, if it is wet and rainy,
Good point.
he puts it on the ground
Good point.
and he
Yep.
knows how to run the football.
Yep.
That's what worries me.
Didn't
So-
think about that.
I'm going Page. I'm going to go Patriots. but
Page's
would not-
defense is solid too. I mean, you
would
got to
not
remember they held
surprise me, though.
Shelbyville to 14 points.
That's right, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is a nasty weather game. That kind of leans towards Coach Crabtree's style.
That's true.
But
I'll give
I'm
you
going to
that.
go Patriots because I like Cade Walker and I love what Coach Rathbone's doing.
I agree. I'm going to go Page. I think because of what you stated is closer. I think on a dry field and good weather,
Oh, yeah.
Page is probably 7-10 better.
I think so.
I think it's a 3-point game the way it is. You buy that?
Yeah.
Shelbyville and Hillsboro, Lee, we told Coach Palmer we think this is going to be a really good matchup there in 5A, quad 3. I think the winner of this game probably wins this quad. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
They should have beat Page first time. I was at that game. 4 turnovers, killed them.
Yeah.
I really think Shelbyville should have won that first matchup. But I'm liking Hillsboro in this game by a little.
So you're going
By a
Hillsboro?
little. I mean, I kind of feel obligated to because I'm one of those guys. I scout these teams, really scout these teams in the
Right.
off-season, preseason. I had Hillsboro in my top 5. So the fact that they're playing good now, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to go away from them right now. And I'm sure Coach Palmer would prefer I pick Hillsboro too.
Coach Palmer, I'm gonna go with you tomorrow night.
I'm glad you are.
I'm gonna go with the
I'm glad you
Shelbyville
are.
Golden Eagles.
I think it really is one of those. It's truly one of those games that could go either
Gonna
way.
be a
Lee.
good
I think
matchup.
I think whoever wins the turnover margin
Yes.
wins this game.
Well, let me ask you this, Mike, about this ball game, because I know you probably got a lot of listeners for this, or viewers for this game. I know Hillsboro has got some athletes, but do they have enough to match up with Malachi and Arias?
Yeah, I think so.
They're athletic enough to match
Yeah,
them.
I think so. They've got a lot of athletes, and
Oh,
that was
yeah.
one reason why we had them.
I just didn't
you
know
know,
if they could match them
Honeysuck-
both of them.
Well, I mean, you got Honeysucker, the number 32 recruit in the state on that
DN.
on that defensive line. So the question is Trammell going to have time to even get the ball downfield?
Yeah,
I
they
think.
may not stretch the field.
Yeah, I
That'd
don't
be
think-
quick.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have a lot of time. Shelbyville's offensive line's played well, but this is probably going to be the most athletic,
Oh yeah.
up front that I think they've had to take on this year.
So you're going Burrows?
I'm going to Burrows. You got the Golden
I'm
Eagles.
going Eagles.
All right, I can dig it, man. I'm right there with you. Lee, looking at the bottom quad 4, Ridgeway at 7-4, a little bit of a disappointment this year. I thought I thought Deron Sutton's team would be a little better. Beat Dyer County 41-13. Henry County 42-14 winner over Munford last week. Henry County's only loss was a really, really good Germantown team this season. Coach Counts, his team is they really caught fire this year.
Yeah, I'm
With
going,
9 starters on defense back, they've looked really good. Who you like in this one?
I'm going Henry County.
I'm going Henry County as well. I like the Patriots, and in the bottom half of that quad, Southwind and Kirby. This is a rematch. Kirby won the first meeting 39-14, and as you know, Jaden Johnson, I've been a fan of his, the quarterback for Kirby.
Crazy good.
Been singing his praises all year. They're 10-1 now, Lee. I like Kirby a lot. I think they win this game, and that's going to set up what should be a good match with Henry County in the third round.
So you're going Cougars, Kirby Cougars?
I'm going Kirby Cougars. I like them, man. I like them. All right, Lee. We got 10 minutes, and we got Class 6A to talk about.
We might run over a minute.
That's all right. That's no problem. I don't think the sponsors will get too upset. the viewers might get a little upset, but this right here, this quad 1 right here is pretty interesting, Lee. I think Farragut has looked really good all year. They take on a solid Ooltewah team, and then you got this is one of the few regions, or one of the few quads where the seedings ruled out. You got a 1-2 versus a 1-2,
Right.
And Farragut against a Ooltewah team 92. What a great job Scott Chandler done coming in for Coach Bryan there at Ooltewah. I've been really impressed with how well they played. They beat a good Hardin County team 35-28 last week, and then Farragut, 10-1. Beat a pretty solid Cleveland team. Who you like in this game?
I like Farragut. I think they walk. I really do. I think Jaden Gibbs really good, and their quarterback's got a lot of. He's threw some picks though. Their quarterback Wilkinson.
Yeah.
He's threw a few picks, but I just think Farragut's got too many athletes, buddy.
Yeah. Farragut beat Hardin Valley 28-0.
That's right.
And Ooltewah kind of struggled. They beat them 35-28 last week. And then if you look at the results of the Cleveland game, Ooltewah only beat them 34-20. And we're comparing common opponents here. Farragut beat them by 20, 25 points.
Right.
So
I'm gonna go Farragut.
if you're looking at common opponents, you just about got to go Farragut. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Admiral.
Eddie Courtney squad. Moving on. Science Hill, Maryville. Maryville, man, they're smoking, dude. They got one loss to Alcoa. They beat the team we have at number 1, Oakland, earlier in the year, and that was a come from behind there in the last minute of the game. But Maryville playing some really good football right now. I think they knocked Stacy Carter's Science Hill squad off.
Yep, definitely Rebels.
Definitely Rebels. That's going to make a pretty good, if we're right, it's going to make a good quarterfinal round with Farragut, I think.
That'll be a good ball game.
A good ball game. I agree, Lee. Let's see. Looking down. Quad. What we're ready for? Quad 3. Is that correct?
3.
Quad 3. Let's pull that up, Lee, so our viewers can see my terrible small print here. Hopefully.
Wait. We didn't do Mountain Juliet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quad
I
2.
did. Sorry about that, Lee. I'm flipping around, brother. You're exactly right. Quad 2. And then, of course, Quad 2, you've got Oakland hosting Hendersonville. Hendersonville's done really good. That's another team. James Beasley's squad. Of course, he comes in for the legend Bruce Hatfield, first year there as a head coach. I think he was defensive coordinator since 2009. I believe that's right. For the Commandos, 8-3 this year. They beat Riverdale 23-14. Oakland 49-10 winner over Rossview. Any shot? Commandos have any chance?
I don't think so, Mike. I think Coach Creasy is on a mission, and I think whoever lines up in front of him he's just going to try to punish them. I really do. I think he is about trying to make a statement.
He's trying to hurt some people, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, he ain't trying to hurt you. Not.
Hurt their feelings.
Yeah, he's trying to make a statement
Yeah.
and let people know you're gonna line up in the playoffs.
You better
against
bring
me.
your A game, right?
Yeah, you better bring your A game and plus some because we're going to. He's thinking I'm going to Cookville,
Yeah.
and you better get out of my way. So buddy, he may roll in this ball game.
Yeah, I agree, Lee. I think
And that's no knock on Hendersonville.
no,
They've
I
had a
think
great
Hendersonville's got a
year.
good team, but I think Oakland's going to roll as you do, and I think
Especially if it's raining and sloppy.
yeah, that's right up their alley, no doubt. Blackman travels to Mount Juliet, bottom half of that quad, Lee. Blackman beat Lebanon 44-7 last week. I think you were at that
I
game.
did.
And if you'll remember, back, I don't remember what week it was, but it was a 4-point win Mount Juliet had over Lebanon. So, that's quite a bit of gap there when we're looking at the common opponent theory.
It is. I'll tell you what, buddy. I was at that game, and Tamika Napier ran wild,
He's a ball player, isn't he?
right up the gut. I bet he had 200 yards rushing, just right off the center's rear end. They ran a little trap play. He's gone. I like Blackman, but I don't think this ball game is. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, man. I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
I do too. Coach Perry's Golden Bears. I think what's helped them as much as anything, Lee, is that region is better this year.
Better.
They walked through everybody last year, and I don't think they were prepared for Riverdale in that first round game last year and got knocked out at 10-0. They come in 10-0 this year and take on Jimmy Maynard's Cookville team, beat them 42-7. And I think that, I don't think Cookville's team is as good as Riverdale's
no.
was last year, but I think the tougher schedule for Mount Juliet this year has
It's
them
helped
better
them.
prepared for postseason.
Yeah, like I said, I like the Blaze in this game, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than some think.
I do too. I'm thinking probably 7-10,
10 points.
10 points. All right, I'll go with that. So we're liking the Blackman Oakland rematch next week.
Yes.
Moving on down, Lee, into now I can drop down to the bottom of 6A, and that's got Cane Ridge, our buddy Eddie Woods against Ravenwood, and then you've got Independence traveling to Brentwood.
That's correct.
So that's a couple of pretty good games, I think, in Quad 3. You got any strong feelings on that Cane Ridge game?
I'm going to go to it.
Oh, you going to that game? Okay. I hadn't decided yet where I'm going.
I think I'm going to go watch that
I-
game.
that
It's
might
not
be a
far
good
from
one.
here. And
Yeah.
Far from my house. I can be over there.
I guarantee you Eddie Woods would love to have you.
No.
He's a good friend of a show.
Yeah, not very far away.
He'll probably, I think he's one of them said he'd hook you up with concession stand food too.
He might do it.
And we know the AD over our TSU grad. His name's escaping me.
And also, I want to get to, like you said, our boss is watching tonight,
Yeah.
Elliot. And I'd like to watch his son play.
Yeah.
So he's a good receiver over there for Ravenwood, and I think Ravenwood is a very well
Coleman.
coached team.
Yeah.
Garcia has a good night. It could be a close ball game, but I think Cane Ridge has just got too much run game.
Cane Ridge is a sleeper in this playoffs, Lee, in my opinion, because Coach Woods made it very obvious to us he had no desire to blow teams out all year. He spent the entire season building depth. He was putting his twos in a lot earlier than other teams were,
That's right.
and expecting them to win the game, you know.
Now, I do think Ravenwood's going to sit on the run. I do. I think they're going to stack the box, and they're going to make Andrews throw the ball to Barnes.
Right.
But
Which he can do.
he can, but I like Starling out of the backfield, and I like Jacquez Norman even on the defensive side of the ball.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a good ball game. I don't know what the score is going to be. I like Cane Ridge.
I like
but
the
think it's
Ravens
gonna
by
be-
10.
Really, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a good ball game though.
I like Ravens by
Ravenwood's
10.
very well coached.
I like Cane Ridge by 10. How about that?
Yeah, we've been
You
on
ain't
them all
buying,
year.
you ain't buying that, are
Yeah. I've been on. Hey, you know how I feel about Coach Woods.
you?
love that
He
dude.
can get it done, man. Independence, Lee, I was at that game last week against Smyrna, and they jumped on Smyrna pretty quick. I thought Blake Watkins looked really good for Smyrna. But he wasn't enough by itself.
Hey, Coach Williams, by the way, Smyrna coach, buddy, we're thinking about you and praying for you and your family.
Absolutely. But I did get a chance to talk to Coach Williams. Of course, we had him on a couple weeks ago. But you're right, Lee. I mean, he's got a lot going on personally. I mean, we're
He
not
was
going to
out
get
of
on.
town all week. You know, they wrote a Daily News Journal, did an article on it today in the paper.
Oh, okay.
So great, you know, hey, Coach, like I said, we're praying for you, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. He's one of the best in the business. Not only a great coach, he's a great person. He's
Yes,
the kind
he
of
is.
person you want leading your kid.
Exactly right.
So anyway, getting back to the game, Lee, Independence at Brentwood. I think Scott Blade's team is playing really good right now. Ron Crawford's team as well playing good. Independence beat Brentwood 42-31 on September 28th. Ethan Cash had 295 yards passing last week, and that win over Smyrna. Sheffield at 183 receiving yards. And what I'm getting at, they're playing really good right now. Who do you like?
Which Indy shows up?
Yeah, that is the question. That's the magic question.
You know what you're going to get out of Coach Crawford.
Right.
Solid coach team, not very many mistakes.
Right.
This has been a tough one, too. I'll go Independence. I'm going to go Eagles. On a hunch, I don't feel comfortable with that pick.
I don't feel comfortable with either one of them, man.
but
I'm
gonna
right
go
there with you.
Independence.
I think,
'Cause I do think they're playing better football right now, and they do have weapons.
yeah. All right, I'll go. Crap. I'm going to go Brentwood. I'm going to go the other way. And I'm going to tell you why, Lee. I'm going Brentwood because Independence doesn't run the ball very well.
Yeah.
And
They
if the
don't run it
weather's
hard.
bad and it's raining, I think that's the edge to Brentwood.
That's a good choice.
So I'm going to go Brentwood in that one, just basically because of the weather. Man, we're out of time. We got to smoke this
Yeah, we're
quad here.
We're almost through. We're down here in the bottom.
Yeah, let's pull that back up. That quad 4. Houston hosts Whitehaven and Germantown hosts Memphis Central. I think Germantown walks, Lee. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about that game, but I'll tell you that other game I'm really intrigued with, and that's Houston and Whitehaven.
Houston Mustangs.
You're going Houston
going Houston.
Mustangs. Well, Whitehaven beat White Station 41-24. Houston beat them 34-19 last week. If you look at Collierville, Houston beat them 40-6. Whitehaven beat them 40-7. So these teams, in my opinion, are dead even across the board. Now, what you got to watch for is Houston running back Lincoln Perry.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, 191 yards, 4 TDs last week against White Station. So I think that's going to be the focal point for Rodney Salisbury's defense is shutting down that really solid ground game. And you're going with Houston.
I'm gonna go with the Mustangs.
Again, I'm gonna go the opposite. I think these teams are dead even from a talent standpoint. I'm going with experience. Rodney Salisbury's team. That's why I'm going that direction. But I think the teams are even. You've got home field advantage going to Houston with the new head coach James Thomas. He was a defense coordinator, 14 years there at Houston. But you got Rodney Salisbury with state championship experience and a close game, a pick'em game. I'm going with the experienced coach.
I got you.
So I'll go Whitehaven.
You're going experience. I'm gonna go home field.
Yeah, there you go. And that's basically what I think this game boils down to, I believe, because these teams are pretty even. All right, Lee, we're both going Germantown, right? Germantown. All right, Friday main event is complete, Lee Teat. Second round action. Appreciate all the coaches. That's great coaches interviews. Appreciate first timer Paul Derrick jumping on with us. Marty Wheeler, Justin Palmer, and, of course, Coach Greg Ryan over at Greenback. Appreciate those guys jumping on with us. Appreciate you guys tuning in and staying with us. We've run a little over, but you can give us that little thumbs up there at the bottom of the video. We appreciate it. Tell your friends. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. That's really the lifeblood of YouTube is subscribers. So if you haven't done that, we'd appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Build the audience, and Lee and I will be back here next Thursday, right, Lee?
Next Thursday.
We're going to do one more round. We'll do quarterfinal round. We're going to take the semifinal round off. Not a lot of teams playing that week anyway. Enjoy Thanksgiving with our family. So we'll do one more show next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Spread the word. Get the word out there. We expect a great show. And then Lee and I will be in Cookville, brother. I already got the hotel reservations. I'm good to go.
I'm staying with Elijah.
Staying with Elijah. You staying with Ruru, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the couch.
Oh, okay. That'll work. Price is right anyway, isn't
That's
it?
exactly right.
All right, for Lee Teed, I'm Mike Motor. This is the Friday Main Event. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on Coach T.